let's criticize him. Ben Johnson's a buffoon. Part of me wants to say that Lions fans don't even know a good thing when it hits him right in the face. He's done nothing but good things through 3 games so far. You're one of the best offenses in the NFL.
They took their deep shot, which I actually like. The sun, God, some girl was flashing at him. I don't know what happened. The play call was perfect. Right. Execution wasn't there.
Hey, this guy's trash, man. This guy had a bad game.
Ben Johnson, Jeff, is everything and more that I, along with yourself, have expected going into the season, but is he?
He is.
You have an issue with his play calling? Do you have an issue with the output that the offense has, Jeff? I am going to give you the floor.
For me,
and help explain to the audience and me.
Of course.
Explain to me this notion that, we are not happy with what Ben Johnson has done so far. 3 games in. I'm going to sit back. I'm going to enjoy this one.
So I'll ask the people. So Ben Johnson, first 2 games of the season for the Detroit Lions, you scored 30-plus points in each of those games. Second time that's happened in your franchise history since the 50s. And you won the championship that year. So Ben Johnson is doing things that are historic for your franchise. And on top of that, I want to ask you guys, you might have a problem with the play call. I was the one that went on the morning show yesterday. We were at Feldman, and my problem was the pass play on 3rd and 1. Okay, and that is Ben Johnson. And I do have a problem with that play call. But overall, do I think Ben Johnson's not the right man for the job because of one play call? Let's go through the statistics. So far, it's his first year as an official play caller in his career. He's never been an offensive play caller. He's been a position coach. He's been a wide receiver coach, tight ends coach. And let's just go through what the Lions rank right now. Second in points scored and points per game, only behind the Baltimore Ravens. Baltimore's a pretty good team. Third in total yards per game, behind Buffalo and Philadelphia. Pretty good teams. Fourth in rushing yards per game. It's pretty good. And again, first season being the OC, has a chance to be the best offensive coordinator your franchise has ever seen. And that's what the conversation is already. I'm not going to say he's already there, but he has a chance to do it. It's pointless to have this, what am I supposed to do? Sit up here and criticize him, say he should be demoted? No. I mean, listen, if you have a problem with the play call, that's fine. He has the right to at least learn. It's his first year as a play caller. He's allowed to make mistakes. Sorry. Unlike Aaron Glenn and Dan Campbell, who've now had a year and about to be a year and a half under their belt of experience. For Ben, his first season. And I just want to explain this too. Everyone loves to praise the offense. I mean, we've all loved to do it. We love to praise Amon-Ra. We love to praise Jared Goff. We love to praise DeAndre Swift. But we like to nitpick Ben Johnson as of late. My problem with that is who's responsible partially for putting these players in the right position and helping them find success. Who was the player that accredited Ben Johnson last season for his breakout towards the end of the season? Amon-Ra St. Brown. That was who he accredited that to, becoming the passing game coordinator. This man has done only great things for your talent on offense. And for me to sit up here and nitpick Ben Johnson because I didn't like 1 or 2 play calls in that Minnesota game, you still led a majority of the game. You were up with a minute left in the game. He did his job. I mean, let's be honest with you. I mean, there were some decisions at the end which we've covered yesterday. I've pretty much wasted my entire breath talking about it. But I'm not partaking in this Ben Johnson, let's criticize him. Ben Johnson's a buffoon for what he did. You guys don't even know. I mean, listen, part of me wants to say that Lions fans don't even know a good thing when it hits them right in the face. Like, you have a guy who we all know is going to be head coach in the future. But for some reason, people want to sit up here and try and nitpick the man like he isn't or going to be the best OC in your franchise history. So, Adam, I got no problem with Ben Johnson. I don't know how in the hell anybody can have a problem with Ben Johnson. He's done nothing but good things through 3 games so far. You're one of the best offenses in the NFL. We knew this offense would be good, but you think they'd be that good? Up there in the conversation with Miami, Buffalo, and Baltimore? No. I mean, we didn't think that. So, to answer the question, Adam, take a chill pill on Ben Johnson.
There are only 2 teams in the NFL that have scored more than 90 points and are not in first place in their division. 3 teams. 3 teams in the NFL that have scored more than 90 points through 3 weeks and are not in first place. The 2-1 Buffalo Bills, the 2-1 Baltimore Ravens, and the 1-2 Detroit Lions. That's the company you're in. That's the company your offense is in.
It's pretty good company.
And considering you were still somehow on the road able to manage 24 points with no DeAndre Swift, and you probably won't have him over the next few weeks, I would say that's impressive. I would say that's a damn good job. I would say a man who... do you know what team has scored the most points in the NFC North?
Detroit Lions.
Do you know what team has scored the most points in the NFC?
Detroit Lions.
You know what team has scored the most points in the entire NFC out of all the fourth place teams?
Detroit Lions.
Does that make sense to you?
No.
They've scored 95 points through 3 games. They've given up 93. You have a +2 differential. The only team with a worse differential that scored or has scored more than 80 points is the Atlanta Falcons with a -1 point differential. But you go to the Bills and you go to the Ravens, who have scored very similar amount of points with you. You ready for this one? The Bills have a net differential in points of 53 positive. Excuse me, not the Bills. The Ravens, 22 positive. The Bills, the Ravens, they've scored 90 points just like you. Their differential is in the 20s plus. The Bills, 50 plus. Where are the Lions? +2. 93 points
Almost
given up through
dead
3
even.
games.
Yeah.
We're really going to have a conversation about the offensive coordinator? Yeah, look, I disagreed with you yesterday. Mm-hmm. You didn't like the 3rd and 1 call.
But we're nitpicking at that point.
Forget the nitpicking. I'm going to tell you 2 things. You tell me, Adam, you're off. I don't agree.
Okay.
Or, you know what? I can respect it. That's fair. Given the momentum of the game, when it was 3rd and 1, even if they ran the football and they were short, would you not expect them to go for it? Given how the game was going.
I would expect them to go for it, but...
Given that's what they were doing the whole game, right?
Yes,
so if you go
happening.
into that play call before, it's probably a 2-play down.
Yeah.
They took their deep shot, which I actually liked. The sun, God, some girl was flashing her tits at him. I don't know what happened. He was wide open. He had 3, 4, 5 steps on his guy.
Right.
The play call... The play call
in theory
was perfect.
Right.
Execution wasn't there. 100%. I'll own that. You're 100% right. Frustrating as hell. 4th and 1, they don't go for it. Okay, fine. It is tough for me to not love a play call where in a dome environment or any other stadium outside of US Bank Stadium, it's probably a touchdown. Now, whether he stopped running, he didn't see it, we could do this all day. But imagine that was Jameson Williams. Imagine it was a different setting. I mean, the unfortunate aspect of that play call is Reynolds either stopped running or didn't see it or lost it, whatever the case may be.
Right.
Any of those options are unacceptable, unfortunately, because you did not execute. But the play call was perfect. You want to hear a play call I didn't like? The one-on-one matchup with Craig Reynolds. Play action, 4th and 1, or 4th and 2, I believe. And you line up, you're on the right hash, you go play action. Goff is really not even aligned with the pocket in the middle. He's more so to the right side. And you're asking Jared Goff, who's not Patrick Mahomes, not Justin Herbert, not the most elite arm talent in the NFL. You're asking him in one-on-one coverage with Craig Reynolds against a linebacker who is all over him to throw across his body for a 1st down. That I didn't like. Now, Dan Campbell came out yesterday and said, you know what, we wanted a one-on-one matchup. We thought Craig would win it. He didn't. That is an instance within the game where you're betting on your player to win a one-on-one matchup. He didn't. Craig Reynolds, not the guy on 4th down on the road in a divisional game I want being the number 1 key hot option. My opinion, I didn't like the play call. I didn't like the execution, whatever. But we're going to have that every single week. And I really don't want to have to come in every Monday and not overreact.
But grab one play call and argue about it.
I don't want to have to talk about certain decisions. And we'll talk about it at 9 o'clock. I want to focus on Ben here. But it is the last thing I want to do is have to come in here on a Monday and do the same show over and over and over again. I've already done it twice this year. I'm already sick of them. I preferred the Monday show after Washington much more than after Philly and after Minnesota. So let's all agree on one thing here. Your offensive coordinator is not the problem. He is, if anything,
a bright light in a dark room.
he is a absolute bright. He's a bright spot on this team.
Yeah.
He clearly understands where to use his players, how to use them. Chark looked really good against Minnesota. You saw him, those deep crossing routes over the middle, phenomenal. You saw Josh Reynolds get space. There are really good things. What I don't like, if there's one thing I have not figured out with Ben Johnson, is why he can't get more out of TJ Hawkinson. Now, if it's on the individual player, whether it's on Ben, whether it's the scheme, whether they don't want to use him enough, I don't know. What I know is Hawkinson is a mismatch. And if there's one thing I am going to get on Ben Johnson about, hey, Ben, especially with Swift out moving forward, likely for a few weeks with that shoulder sprain, you got to get TJ involved.
They got DJ Chark involved really early. I think the first two passes
I think each were over 15, 17 yards each.
Yeah.
So find a way, Ben. If there's only one thing I can go criticize, find a way to get Hawkinson in the game. Goff looks really good, man.
He does.
He looks really good through 3 weeks.
Better than he did with Anthony
I'm trusting him a lot more and more as the weeks go on. He's having a good season so far. Get Hawkinson involved early, and if Hawkinson just sucks, damn it, he sucks. But imagine having a tight end with his athletic ability, his skill set, and getting nothing.
And
That is one thing I'm looking at Ben and saying, come on, there has to be something there.
And I know, and Chuck says, so what if it's Ben that is making the suggestions on fourth that Dan is making the calls
That's
with?
just not how the NFL works.
No,
Eric Bieniemy doesn't do that. Josh McDaniels doesn't tell Bill Belichick what to do. That's not how it works. Don't play the what-if game. Don't give me the excuses for your sorry head coach right now.
It's Dan saying, we're going to go for it, and Ben dialing up a play on fourth down.
Which they agree going into the game because they make a game plan. There's 4 or 5 plays that they go to. Right. They know those are our fourth and short situational football plays. That's what we're going with. It's on Dan Campbell to say, hey, Ben, we're going for it. Pick your best play here. Or they make one up on the spot, depending on what they're seeing on the field. Whatever it may be, that is the head coach's decision. No head coach in the history of the NFL. And if there were any, they're all fired because they would lose their job immediately.
Allowing their OC.
If they allow their OC to determine what happens on fourth down in terms of making that decision. Absolutely not. Now, you have Tom Brady on the field, Aaron Rodgers, they come up to you and say, we're going for it. I don't care what you say. No, we're going for it. That's different. You're respecting a franchise Hall of Fame quarterback. Patrick Mahomes, you respect him. You say, you know what, we'll consider it, Patrick. You don't do that. You don't give authority to your offensive coordinator on a road game in the division. No, it's just not real. It's just not real.
Yeah, I'm confused because I'm just seeing this Ben Johnson, and I get it.
What's the
there were
what's
some
the
play
comment?
calls you didn't like, but for example, like easy, Ben effed up Sunday. I'm not closing the book on him, but he had a growing game, hopefully. And
okay, if Ben effed up, what Dan Campbell do? Answer that easy.
Self-destructed. I mean,
how did Ben F up? The 3rd and 1 play call. Again, the play call was perfect. It was perfect. It caught them off guard. You had a deep shot that should have been a touchdown.
They were like 4 for 6 on fourth downs earlier in the game because of his play calling. So
yeah,
they were finding success. Now, do they need to convert more of these third downs? Yes. But Jared Goff even said in the press conference, we were going for it on third, knowing we were going to go for it on fourth. So it's almost a 2-down play. They're not trying to get a first down. They know we're going to have a 4th down play we're going to run. So get close to the first down marker, and we'll get there. So I don't understand.
I can acknowledge Ben Johnson. All right. You're not happy with some of the play calls down the stretch.
That's fine.
How conservative the offense got. Again, what did Dan Campbell say before we even entered the season? Hell, down the stretch of last season, I was not happy with the way Anthony Lynn was calling games. I want them called a certain way. I want somebody who's going to call the games the way I want them called.
Right.
Ben Johnson, up and coming individual, working under Dan, is really taking the ideology of Dan. They went for it 6 times on 4th down, dude. So,
yeah, and Chuck, 4 for 6 on 4th down means the 3rd down sucks.
Yeah, that is true, though. But they did suck on 3rd down.
No, listen, they weren't very good, but Jared even said a lot of those plays were to get to 4th down,
yes.
4th and 1, 4th and 2.
It was a 2-play situation, which is why I brought up the 3rd and 1. For me, when they were 3rd and 1, that was, I don't want to say PTSD. I was like, oh, here we go.
Right.
This is a 2-play down. This is 2 plays, 100%. Either they take a deep shot or they're going to try to run it on 3rd. And if they're short, they're going to run it again.
And this is the problem I have, too. Easy. Run the ball on 1 yard, plain and simple. It's okay that he effed up guys. No, listen. I was on the show yesterday talking about I didn't like the
Which
play
play?
call, the 3rd and 1. But that's besides the point.
With the
Let's
throw
say,
down, is that the throw
yes,
downfield?
the Josh Reynolds play. Let's say you didn't like it. Did he not call a good game? Like, so that one play,
So
because Josh Reynolds was wide open, even I didn't like it, but the fact of the matter is,
sorry, I
he
had
was
to bring
wide
that
open.
up to you because
He was wide open.
the reality is the play call.
I didn't like it,
perfect.
but he was wide open. Yeah, I'm not going to sit here and say he wasn't. The guy was naked, and the sun was in his eyes. He wasn't able to catch the ball. Now, would I rather put the game in the offensive line? Yeah, run the ball. But the play call still worked. So what are we doing? What are we doing here?
Guys,
Is that just because
are we
of
gonna
one
conveniently
play?
forget that
We're gonna
DeAndre
take
Swift was not available?
everything away from Ben. Hey, this guy's trash, man. This guy had a bad game.
I don't think that's their point. I just think this is too much.
He had a bad game play calling.
I disagree because DeAndre Swift was not available. Amon-Ra St. Brown had a hobbled leg, and you were still able to find a way to put points on the board after you blew a 14-point lead when both individuals were hurt. You won the game in the second half 10-0 up until that point. You were up 10-0. You found a way to get 10 more points up on the board with no DeAndre Swift and a 30% Amon-Ra St. Brown who might miss a few weeks. Stop it.